What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com, and let's talk some Thursday night football. Colts at the Broncos, a game that I'm sure if you're like me, when you saw this on the schedule a little bit earlier, when they released it, you were super excited about this being a Thursday night game. Not so much as we enter week 5 here in the NFL. Guys, as always, everything we do, absolutely free. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Let us know in the comment section how you're going to play this game. Got to be honest, I'm not jumping up and down about this game. Two of the most disappointing teams in the NFL, actually probably the two most disappointing teams in the NFL through the short season so far. As we sit right now recording this here on Thursday morning, 3.5. It's either an expensive 3 if you want the Broncos, or you can actually get a little bit of plus money if you want the 3.5. If you want to go ahead and bet the Broncos at 3.5, you can also get just a normal 3.5. If you want to take the Colts in this thing, a total sitting 42.5 in this one. I'll scroll down so you can kind of read along here with everything. There's some stats for you if you want to look at them through the first little bit. Injury side of things, guys. As you know, this game is not without a bunch of injury news. Jonathan Taylor, Julian Blackmon, Tyquan Lewis, Darius Leonard, all out for the Colts in this one. On the Broncos side, they lost Javonte Williams for the year. Randy Gregory is out. Their right tackle in Quinn Miners is out. And then their right guard, I should say, in Quinn Miners, and their right tackle, Billy Turner, is questionable. So lots of injuries for the Colts and a couple for the Broncos. And then, of course, Billy Turner, if he were to be out in this one, they would be down 2 starting offensive linemen on the Broncos side of things. So as we take a look, again, like I said, 2 of the most disappointing teams in the NFL, probably the 2 most disappointing teams in the NFL so far. If we look at this line, and I'll have to scroll back up if you want to look at the line. Look, it would be a Broncos or pass for me if I was playing this spread, and mainly because if you take a look, the Colts have been just absolutely putrid. If you look, if you look at the stats, it's even more deceiving, because once you strip out garbage time, it's been even worse. And when I say it's been even worse, this is the offense that is 32nd overall DVOA rank, dead last in the NFL. 21st according to Pro Football Focus. If you look at their offensive EPA, they're 31st in the NFL. 25th yards per play. So it's been horrible. And if you strip out garbage time, it's been even worse than what you see on the surface. And now you're taking away Jonathan Taylor, who, as we know, is kind of like how they want to run this offense, right? They want to run through Jonathan Taylor. Now, whether that's efficient or not, that's for another day, but that's how they want to go about all this. Then you look on the defensive side, then you look on the Denver side of things, and they've been almost as bad. 24th DVOA, 27th according to Pro Football Focus. And one of the things that's even crazier about this Denver team, a team that has Russell Wilson at quarterback, it has Cortland Sutton at wide receiver, has Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver. You've got some pretty good 3rd, 4th, 5th options as well. They are 32nd red zone offense in the NFL. Dead last in the NFL in red zone scoring. Yes, Russell Wilson at quarterback, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, what was Javonte Williams, still have Melvin Gordon, all that. And that is what's going on with this Denver team. Both teams broken right now. Nathaniel Hackett making some of the worst decisions. The coach of the Broncos making some of the worst decisions you'll see in the NFL. As far as the total goes, this is sitting, high end 42.5, low end 42. As far as the total goes, guys, listen, there's a lot that leans you towards the under. One, just how incredibly inefficient that these offenses have been. Then if you want to look, situation neutral pace for the Colts, they're 18th. So they're in the bottom half of the league. Situation neutral pace for the Broncos, they're 28th in the league. So these teams run slow, as it is anyway. They function slowly. You've got a Denver defense, actually, that's been super, super good. So I will give the Denver defense, they've been absolutely elite, which is why Denver hasn't been getting blown out in these games. And actually even won a couple of games, right? Top 10 defense in basically every single metric there is. Top 5 in a lot of the metrics that are out there. So the Denver defense has been elite. Patrick Surtain, probably one of the best, top 3 at this point, corners in all of the NFL. And then for what it's worth, on the Colts side of things, from a defensive standpoint, their rush defense has been absolutely fantastic. Now, they've been getting it up through the air, but you can't really run on this team at all. So with that, you would think path of least resistance would be for Denver to throw the ball in this thing. So if you do look at it that way and you're trying to get to an over here, one, it's a super low total, right? Two, if we're talking about positive regression for both of these teams, listen, these two teams had fairly decent projections coming into this year. I mean, look, if you watched any of our preseason stuff, I was bullish on the Colts to win that division. And then nobody thought that the offense led by Russell Wilson with those two receivers and the way that everything's going would be this poorly. So if you think of positive regression here, you think that they're not actually the dead last, if we're talking about the Broncos, like not actually the dead last red zone offense in the NFL. If you think that the Colts cannot possibly be this bad, and listen, without Jonathan Taylor, maybe they're forced to pass a little bit more and maybe try to be a little bit more efficient. So, I mean, if you think about that, I could see how you'd want to get to an over here. Specifically, if it get, at a flat 42, if we're only asking for 43 points in a game, 23-20 game, is that out of the realm of possibility? I don't really think so. So I can see where you want to get there too, but it's just real tough in this game overall to get a beat on it. I'll scroll here a little bit further for you to read on what kind of Eli thinks of this one, which again, just, spoiler alert, he's not jumping up and down about this game either. I think what you have to do if you want to play this one, guys, is you really do have to get a conviction on one side or the other and just pray that it plays out. Like, you're praying here that if you want the Denver side of things, for example, this defense continues to play like they've played and Russell Wilson and company figure something out. Like it's, you cannot think that it stays status quo and then they still win this by 4 points, right? If you need them to cover the field goal here. If you want the Colts side of things, then you look at this and you have to say, this offense isn't absolutely completely broken like it has been through the first 4 weeks. Jonathan Taylor being gone maybe forces them to get out of whatever they've been doing in the first 4 weeks of the season. And it can only be better, right? Because it cannot be worse. If you are the 32nd overall DVOA offense in the league, it can't be worse. You're dead last. If you're 31st in EPA, you basically can't be worse. So you're 32nd in points per play. So it can only be better. So whatever they were doing the first 4 weeks, if you don't have Jonathan Taylor, then maybe that forces them to change into something that might be a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. So that's kind of how you really have to go about handicapping this game. For me, like I said, it's Denver or pass for me, strictly because I do still believe this Denver roster, the defense is elite, regardless. So we at least have one unit on the field that we can rely on. We cannot rely on the Indianapolis offense. We can't rely on the Denver offense. We can't even rely on the Colts defense as a whole because our pass defense is so bad. Rush defense is good. The one unit we can rely on is the Denver defense. And so at least with that, there's one reliable thing here. That's why it'd be a Denver or pass for me. I think if you look here, from a prop standpoint is kind of how I look to attack this. And again, you can get this prop finder odds, prop finder tool, type in any name, and you'll be able to find all the lines here. I'm not going to look at Nyheim Heinz from a rushing perspective, strictly because that could get a little funky with everything. But I do like him from a receiving standpoint, and I really do like the over 25.5 on him here from a receiving standpoint. He's their third down backs it was anyway. We're likely to get him out on the field a little bit more. I don't think he'll be out there every single down. I do think they'll probably, do a Phillip Lindsay type thing or something like that or whatever. But, for me, I do believe that we're going to see him play 20% more in this game than typical, maybe even more. And so I do think that he'll be out there catching some passes. Look, Matt Ryan too might be washed. That's also in the equation here of some of the possibilities. And so with that, he's been throwing a ton, 9 yards and less anyway, as it is already this season. And for what it's worth, he has completed a ton of those passes. He's like anything that he's done from 9 yards and in, he's been okay. I know it's like, yeah, he's an NFL quarterback. He should be able to complete passes fewer than 10 yards down the field. But regardless, that's what kind of his sweet spot right now is behind the line of scrimmage up to like 9 yards down the field. Of course, as a running back, Nyheim Hines, that's kind of his sweet spot as well. So I would just imagine he's going to be far more involved in this game. And another thing is Surtain might shadow Michael Pittman. And if that's the case, then, he's going to be looking to get to alternate receivers as it is anyway. So we'll take the over on 25.5 for Nyheim Hines. The other one, this is more just a fun bet. So we are getting 5-1 on an anytime touchdown from Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray got scooped up by the Broncos after the Javonte Williams injury, got scooped up off the Saints practice squad. This is not a guy coming in off the street situation. Latavius Murray, due to their injury situation last week, was activated and played over in London for the Saints. So this guy isn't like coming in off the street and having played at all. He played in a game last week for the Saints. So now he comes in for Denver, and Melvin Gordon has had fumble problems, by the way. So it would not surprise me at all for them to get into kind of a goal line situation and turn to Latavius Murray. And we're getting 5-1. It's more of a fun bet to have in your account. But does he score a touchdown here to justify 5-1 odds at any point in this game? I think it's a pretty decent bet. For Latavius Murray to maybe get a goal line carry or two. He's going to have to convert, obviously, for us. But, all we're looking for is 2 goal line carries in this, and that would justify this, because if they're putting Latavius Murray in goal line situation, he's probably getting a chance from the 1 or the 2 yard line. So we're hoping that happens. And again, it's not a guy just completely coming in cold off the street. The guy played last week. It was just for a different team. And if all you're doing is trying to plunge in the end zone, you don't have to know the offense inside and out. So Latavius Murray at 5-1 on anytime touchdown. And let's do some same game parlay stuff here, guys. Now, look, this is more, again, I don't have a ton that I love about this game. So this is more just like to have some fun stuff in here, to have a little bit of a sweat. This is the game is complete garbage same game parlay. So basically the under 45.5 points, under 270 pass yards for Ryan, under 270 pass yards for Wilson, under 80 receiving yards for Michael Pittman because Patrick Surtain shuts him down, under 90 receiving yards for Cortland Sutton. And, look, I threw the Matt Ryan interception in there. It gets it to 425. If you turn that off, I mean, it's not as sexy, right, at all. It's like a plus 240. But again, this is basically the game is crap, but at least you're getting 2.5-1 on your money for the game being crap. No points, no passing yards, no receiving yards for the number 1 receivers, stuff like that. And then you can, like I said, you can spice it up if you wanted to. Say Matt Ryan throws an interception. It does bump it up to 425 if you wanted to do that. But this is your game is crap same game parlay here. And here's this game goes absolutely haywire and does something that nobody thinks is possible. Same game parlay. So basically we're going over 44 points. So we're getting more points than anyone thought. Ryan goes over his passing yard. It goes over 220 passing yards. Wilson goes over 220 passing yards. So they find some success through the air. With that, the secondary receiver in Alec Pierce, who by the way is the secondary receiver for this Colts team now. He gets over 30 yards, which has happened multiple times already this season as it is. Anyway, Cortland Sutton, the primary receiver obviously for Denver, he goes over 50. Pittman, the primary receiver, goes over 50 as well. I talked about Nyheim Hines getting more involved in the pass game for the Colts, getting some receiving yards out of the backfield. He goes over 24.5. Now you're getting 9-1 on this. So this is like offense happens in this game, even though nobody thinks that offense is going to happen parlay. And then if you wanted to throw in any sort of touchdown, I left it at this to show you this is what you get for 9-1. And then if you really want to get wacky, any of these anytime touchdowns, then just blows this thing, way up. If you wanted to say, whatever, Cortland Sutton finds the end zone, but this becomes 12-1. If you want to get even crazier, Jerry Jeudy finds the end zone, it gets up to 18-1. And if you say, oh, you know what? Guess what? Matt Ryan's going to find Mo Alley Cox at some point when they get down into the red zone for an anytime touchdown. Then we're getting up to 35-1. So again, if you wanted to take the parlay and then spice it up a little bit with some of these, anytime touchdown stuff, then of course that is available as well. But again, guys, just not a game you can get a real great read on. You can get over here and read Elis Thoughts. Again, not a strong opinion from him either on this if you want to go to our week 5 game preview here. But it's just a weird game. Two teams that are underperforming. Is one team likely to find something, whatever on a short week? Probably not, right? But there has to be some sort of regression for these teams. They cannot be dead last, bottom of the NFL from an offensive standpoint, I don't think, for the course of the entire season. Guys, as always, everything we do, absolutely free. So please go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate it. And you can see as we go down, really great rundowns of all of the stuff here as well over on the lines. That is, of course, absolutely free. We got free pick'em contests where you can win actual gift cards and money and swag and different things like that. So we got that. And then we have the Discord as well. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this game. Is there a bet that stood out to you that I just didn't see? It's a very interesting game for me for two teams that I think are, probably the biggest underperformers, underachievers in the NFL so far this year. Good luck on all your Thursday night football bets, fellas.